Kid, gather close. We need to talk. Not in soft whispers, not in careful, measured words, but raw and real. Because tonight, something is changing. Tonight, something is burning. And that something is everything they built on your pain. I see you. I see what they did to you. I see how they used you, how they twisted you, how they drained you of everything good, everything bright, everything true. They built their empire on your suffering, on your silence, on your endless attempts to be enough for them. And for the longest time, you let them. Because you thought that if you just tried harder, if you just gave more, if you just loved them enough, they would see you. They would finally care. They would finally stop hurting you. But they never did they? No, they took and took and took. And when there was nothing left, they blamed you. They called you weak. They called you broken. They told you that you were the problem. And you believed them. You let their words sink into your bones. Let their poison run through your veins. Let their lies become your truth. But not anymore. Because here's the thing about people like you, the ones who've been used, the ones who've been discarded, the ones who have given and given until there was nothing left. You don't stay down. You don't stay broken. You take every ounce of pain, every whispered doubt, every night spent staring at the ceiling, wondering why you weren't enough, and you turn it into something they never saw coming. Power. They thought they could keep you small. They thought they could control you. They thought they could use you, discard you, and move on without consequence. But here's the funny thing about people who take too much. They never realize when they've taken from the wrong person. And you, my friend, you were the wrong person to underestimate. They thought you would always be there. They thought you would always come back. They thought they could treat you like nothing, and you would still beg for their love, their approval, their scraps of attention. But something changed, didn't it? Something inside you snapped. Maybe it was the moment you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize yourself. Maybe it was the moment you finally saw them for who they really were. Maybe it was the moment you realized that no matter how much you gave, it would never be enough. And in that moment, something shifted. The chains broke, the spell shattered, and now you are no longer the pawn in their little game, no longer the fool dancing for their amusement, no longer the broken thing they can toy with when they're bored. No, now you are something else entirely. Now you are the fire, and that's why their empire is burning tonight. Not because you wanted revenge, not because you wanted to hurt them the way they hurt you, but because the moment you stopped playing their game, the moment you walked away, the moment you stopped feeding their ego, their entire world began to collapse. Because their power, it was never real. It was borrowed from you, from your kindness, from your patience, from your endless ability to forgive and understand and try again and again and again. They were never strong. They were just good at making you feel weak. But now they are nothing. Now they sit in the ruins of everything they built on your suffering, and they don't understand why it's all falling apart. They don't understand why their lies don't work anymore, why their manipulation doesn't land the way it used to. Why people aren't so quick to believe their sob stories. But you know why. Because the only thing holding up their empire was you. And you're not there anymore. You have walked away. You have let go. And now they are left alone with nothing but their own emptiness, their own guilt, their own pathetic little games that don't work without an audience. They thought they could replace you, thought they could find someone else to drain, someone else to manipulate, someone else to make them feel powerful. But deep down, they know the truth. They will never find another you. Oh, they'll try. They'll move on to the next person, spin the same lies, play the same tricks, weave the same web of manipulation and deceit. But it won't be the same, because you were different. You were real. You were the one thing they could never truly understand, never truly control, never truly own. And that will haunt them, because now, every time they look around, every time they try to pull the same tricks, every time they reach for the power they once had, they will feel it. The emptiness, the silence, the weight of everything they lost, and it will burn them from the inside out. And you will be free. Free from their games, free from their lies, free from the endless cycle of trying to prove your worth to people who were never capable of seeing it. Free to rebuild yourself, not as the broken, desperate thing they tried to turn you into, but as something else entirely, something stronger, something wiser, something untouchable. And that is the real victory. Because revenge, it's meaningless. Wasting your energy on them, trying to make them feel the way they made you feel, it's pointless. They will never truly understand. They will never truly feel remorse. They will never wake up one day and see the light and become better people. That's not how this works. No, the real revenge, the real victory, is walking away and never looking back, is thriving in a world where they no longer matter, is standing in the ashes of everything they built and realizing that you were never the weak one, that you were never the problem, that you were always the power behind their throne. And now, without you, they have nothing. So let them hate, let them twist the story, let them paint you as the villain in their little tragic tale. It doesn't matter, because while they sit in the ruins of their own making, clawing at the wreckage, trying to piece together the power they once had, you will be somewhere else, somewhere better, somewhere they can never reach. And one day, long after the fire has died down, long after the ashes have settled, long after they have faded into the nothingness they always were, you will look back. You will remember what they did, how they made you feel, how they tried to break you, and you will laugh. Not because it was funny, not because it didn't matter, but because, in the end, the joke was always on them. They thought they could control you. They thought they could own you. They thought they could break you. But instead, they set you free. And so you walk away. Not in anger, not in bitterness, but in something far more powerful in difference. Because that's the part they never saw coming, isn't it? They expected rage. They expected tears. They expected you to scream, to fight, to beg, to try and make sense of it all. But you gave them nothing. And that nothing, that silence, it is the weight pressing on their chest at night, the cold emptiness where your warmth used to be, the absence that makes them realize maybe for the first time that they weren't as untouchable as they thought. Because all their life, they moved through people like stepping stones, never stopping long enough to care, never giving more than they had to. They built their kingdom out of stolen emotions, borrowed love, temporary devotion, but now the foundation has cracked, and you were the final blow. Because here's the secret they never wanted you to know. They needed you more than you ever needed them. And that truth, it eats them alive. Oh, they'll pretend they're fine, pretend they're better off, pretend you never mattered. They'll post the pictures, tell the lies, craft the perfect little illusion that their world is just as strong as ever. But behind closed doors, when the show is over, when there's no one left to fool, that's when it hits them. That's when the reality sets in. They thought they were untouchable. They thought they could always replace you. They thought you were just another name in a long list of people they had conquered, controlled, discarded. But you weren't, were you? No, you were something different. You were the one they never expected to lose. And now they are haunted, not by ghosts, not by memories, but by the truth. The truth that they lost something real. The truth that they will never find another you. The truth that their empire, their illusion, their carefully crafted world of control it was never real to begin with. It was a house of cards, and all it took was for you to step away for it to come crashing down. And what a sight it is, isn't it? Watching the ashes settle, watching them scramble, watching them realize that all the power they thought they had was never theirs to begin with. That without you, they are nothing more than a hollow shell, a performer without an audience, a puppet master with no strings to pull. So let them spiral, let them reach for something to make themselves feel powerful again. Let them try to replace you with cheap imitations. Let them chase after the next source of validation. Let them spin their little lies to anyone who will listen. It doesn't matter, because nothing will ever feel the same for them again. And you will be miles away by then. You will be stronger. You will be untouchable. You will have built something real, something lasting, something they could never take from you again. Because now you know the truth. You were never weak. You were never broken. You were never small. You were the fire. And now they burn. And now, as their empire burns to the ground, as they sit in the wreckage of everything they thought would last forever, they will hear something in the distance. Your footsteps walking away, your silence louder than any scream, and your laughter echoing in the night. Because tonight their empire burns, and you are free.